Let's talk a little bit about Letitia James. Joining me now is Paul Morrow. He is a retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor. Plus, Jake Blumenkrantz, New York State assemblyman who worked closely with Mamdani. And we're going to be talking about Mamdani in just a second. But first of all, Tish James, is she going down?
Look, the case has the benefit of being really simple. If you read the indictment, you don't need to be a lawyer. It essentially comes down to this. She buys the house, she gets the loan saying it's not an investment property. Then she puts a tenant in who reportedly pays
She gets
rent,
money out of it.
and it's an investment property. And here's where she's in real trouble. Under her own tax returns, she claims it as an investment property and takes write-offs relative to repairs that she's done on this property. Those two things are internally inconsistent, irrespective of what her defense is, what the prosecution says. 2 + 2 can't equal 5 here. So consequently, I think she's going to have to answer this out. I think they're going to get past all the motions to dismiss. You're hearing, oh, it's never going to get to trial, it's never going to get to trial. I don't agree with that. The AUSA, the U.S. attorney that brought it, legitimately appointed by Donald Trump, was still under the 120-day temporary status. I think it goes forward, and here's the thing. She gets to trial and she loses. That's her career, because by definition,
you can't be an AG.
Felony conviction, you're out.
Yep, you can't be an AG if you don't have a lawyer's license. Jake, let me talk a little bit about Mamdani. Maybe you knew this, but I hadn't seen this tape until it came out on X Post a couple of days ago, but where Mamdani literally is using a Marxist line to talk about public housing. He wants to get rid of private housing in this city. Possibly it's his goal for the whole nation. Let me just roll that and get your comment. Roll it.
We'll have to go beyond the market. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us.
Decommoditize housing. That is Marxist newspeak for essentially taking the value out of your house that people have put incredible amounts of money into. I mean, is he serious? This is pure Marxism.
I think where we have to ask, is he serious, is he says he has history to guide us. History of what? What has happened in the Soviet Union, what's happened in every failed socialist experiment we've ever seen throughout U.S. history. What we've seen is the success of capitalism. And what this individual, this assemblyman, Zohran, is trying to do is he is trying to use this socialist playbook to win people over, only to destroy our city. This is not the only socialist playbook rule he's taken out. He is constantly using them. He's constantly using rhetoric like this. And on a day like today, where we're releasing the hostages, he's posting about celebrating UNRWA.
By the way, we know New Yorkers not better than anybody, because the same thing happened in Chicago with places like Cabrini Green, et cetera. Public housing ends up as filthy, drug-infested, crime-infested areas. It's not something that people desire to live in.
The worst landlord in New York City is New York City, is our public housing here. And what he wants to do is make everything a public commodity just like that. And you can ask anyone who lives in one of those housing projects whether they like the way it's run or not, and you're going to get the same answer.
By the way, has he said anything about this peace deal? I haven't heard anything. He was talking about Israel and Gaza about 5 times a day before the peace deal. Now he's not mentioning a word about it.
He made one post. He posted that he's celebrating his 5K run with UNRWA, an organization that's been linked to Hamas. So I think he speaks volumes. The left likes to say silence is violence. I can't think of a more violent comment than that one.
Paul, if he is elected, and he may not be, I mean, Curtis Lee was making some strides here, but if he is elected, what do cops do?
So listen, nobody takes the police job for the money, right? If you do, you're going to be sorely disabused quite quickly. So what does that mean? Once you take the white hat off the police, that is the reason they took the job to begin with, something that they feel good about, it becomes very, very hard to get up and show up for work. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, at the very least, they're going to be extremely defensive. But let's remember something. Aside from the fact that they're going to be in a defensive crouch, if you have less than, let's say, 5 years on, which there's been a lot of hiring recently, you're going to start to look around to yourself and you're going to say, you know what, A, the city's going broke because of this guy. B, I'm the bad guy. What cops talk about when they sit in police cars, when they're between answering jobs, is not, I'm worried about getting shot. It's, I'm worried about getting indicted because that's becoming more and more prevalent. I feel like they have a target on their backs. And so what's going to happen is they're going to look around, they're going to say, Florida's offering a $30,000 signing bonus. South Carolina is offering $30,000 in immediate pay raises and a take-home car and a better lifestyle. And I'm not the bad guy. Who would stick around?
Yeah.
And that's what is going to happen.
The city's already broke, Jake. You work with this guy. Is he smart enough to realize that he can't print money, that either he gets a bailout from Washington, which ain't going to happen with Donald Trump in the White House, or he's going to have to cut back on his plans of free this, free that, free everything?
I think he wants to turn, as we've seen lately, our buses into roving shelters, as who's going to use a free bus all the time, as we've seen in other cases. But the reality is, as New Yorkers are going to face a serious situation when they see his plans implemented in the way they do. And right now we're seeing his Albany Democratic allies saying they're going to fall in line. They're going to do what he wants. They're going to raise taxes the way he wants, and New Yorkers are going to pay the ultimate price for it.
By the way, there's no such thing as a free bus. There's no such thing as a free lunch, but somebody's got to pay for the gas. Somebody's got to pay the drivers. Somebody's got to pay for the buses and the upkeep. I mean, to say that free bus service is going to be possible is not true.
Look, he is using the Soviet playbook. Just lie to them, right?
Yeah. All right, Paul, Jake, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.